The following is a Spirit Street production. You've discovered your link to the Powercat Podcast, presented by Fridge Wholesale Liquor. It's the Powercat Podcast. And now, let's go to the Spirit Street Studios. Here's your host, Powercat publisher, Tim Fitzgerald.
Welcome to the Powercat Podcast. Football season is over. Crazy possible coaching hire season is open. And basketball season is going. Tim Fitzgerald, Riley Gates, Zach Carlson, your trio of confidants. What we share with you, you should share with no one else.
Of course, because it's a free podcast, and they can listen to it.
It's free, so it doesn't really matter, I guess.
Help us get them clicks.
Very interesting, guys. We've got so much to talk about. I'm eager to hear some questions from our listeners and our users and our VIP customers. Thanks to everyone that's new to the site and signed up during Cyber Monday. A lot of signups. Action at Go Powercat. We're in the crazy season here. I just want to get this out of the way. I know there's probably questions. This Bill Snyder thing is bizarre. I think most people expected to have something come out. We're taping this on Tuesday evening by now, but it really sounds like we might. We're going to say this, and the podcast releases on Wednesday. It'll happen, but we might go the whole week without really knowing anything about Bill Snyder retiring, trying to stay.
Bill Snyder retiring during our podcast recording, confirmed.
Yeah. Just like Dana Dimmel getting hired at UTEP last year during the middle of a podcast.
That did happen.
So, fans are on pins and needles. What's amazing to me is how close Gene Taylor's playing this to the vest. He kind of said a few things on Monday, but other than that, he's really being cautious here. And how many rumors there are out there, even though nobody around Gene really knows what Gene's up to.
We've got an entire half dedicated to the head coaching position at Kansas State University.
Okay.
So let's just not step on any toes.
What's our other half?
The first half is about Kansas State football on Saturday and how much fun that game was.
Was that sarcastic right there?
Oh, you didn't see my sarcasm sign?
No, I did not see that.
Yes, I did have that up. And the program. And then the second half is about that head coaching position. And then in the overtime, we're going to not talk about either of them.
Ooh. Because
it's fun.
We're going to talk about different types of bananas?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I can't remember. We'll find out.
Orange.
We got
brown.
2 rapid fires in there, so I'm excited.
Okay. We got double rapid fires. Well, let's get going here. Our sponsors, of course, are the Fridge Wholesale Liquor, and get into the fridge. I missed their Black Friday sale. They have an epic Black Friday sale every year where they save all of their really cool bourbons. All, the Pappy Van Winkle or whatever, all the rare stuff. And they have a Black Friday sale. They open at 9 a.m. on Friday. When we were coming back from one of the Thanksgiving events we go to, we were at some friend's house, 11. We drive by the fridge, and Becky, my wife, goes, "Why are there people camping out in front of the fridge?"
People camp out?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I'm like, well, they have a big Black Friday sale.
Okay, well, oh, wow. Camping out.
If you
for
really
booze.
like quality rare bourbons that are hard to get. And honestly, they'll sell some bourbons that you can get on Black Friday, and then I imagine people are going back and reselling them. Some of those Pappy Van Winkles here got a lot of value to them, even though I hear it's not that great a bourbon. It's good, but it's not. I don't know.
That's a real name? You're not just making it up?
I think that's the name. I don't drink it. I'm a bourbon guy, but I don't drink it because it's kind of pricey.
What do you mean you're not a bourbon guy?
I am a bourbon guy.
Oh, I thought you said you're not a bourbon guy.
I did say that. I don't know. I got radiation brain. I don't know what I'm talking about. So get into the fridge. They've got a lot of great stuff in there, but I really do like their bourbon selection. Kevin is very good with bourbons, and he takes a lot of pride in his vodka selection, which is
Kevin, if you're listening,
near and dear to my heart.
We would take a bourbon tasting.
Oh,
we wouldn't turn that down.
Maybe we should have that. Maybe we should arrange the Powercat Podcast.
I mean, we've gotten some free
tasting.
things from some certain places because of talk on the podcast.
Where would we do it?
Well, we'd have to do it there.
Or here.
At the Blockbuster?
We could do
At
it
the Blockbuster, yes, at the Blockbuster. Kevin really probably appreciates us keep referring to a store as the Blockbuster.
Hey, do you have Rambo on VHS?
I was wanting to get that and a 6-pack of Busch Light.
I like that Rambo. He's mean. And you don't piss that bastard off, man. He will shoot you between the eyes.
We should. Sorry.
And, of course, get down to Tanner's. We're into that time of year when all you want to do is watch football, NFL football, bowl football, Kansas City Chiefs, and, of course, Kansas State's bowl game. Never mind.
Dude, we get to watch bowl season this year.
Yeah, you look. Okay, let's be honest about this, folks.
It's kind of like losing in the NCAA tournament first round.
There's a point. This is a little behind the curtain look into the life of a sports journalist. You love covering the postseason. Bowl games last year was not so good. Yeah, and then NCAA tournament's a blast. But when your team loses, you're kind of like, the work's over. There's just kind of that, the upside of this is I'm done busting my ass for a while.
You all sit there and watch every buzzer beater known to man. Meanwhile, we almost missed UMBC last year because
we were in the arena.
Because we were working. So
think about that. We were in the arena and almost missed the end of the game.
I had to stop my work. I was like, I'm not going to miss this.
And, thank God you said what you were doing because I was totally unplugged from – I'd looked up and seen the score, but I didn't realize the game was almost over. So we walked 100 feet to go to the arena and watch from the tunnel at the game's end.
So, yes, we would have rather Kansas State made a bowl game, and we got to cover that for you guys. But also – we're going to get to see every single bowl game and every snap that we so choose to. If we want to sit at Tanner's for 12 hours and watch every bowl game, we can do that.
Okay, so I had this plan. If K-State didn't make a bowl game, Becky and I were going to go. We don't have children, official children. We got fake children.
And dogs.
That's hard to explain.
And dogs.
And dogs. And they don't really... Well,
They're the size of children.
One of them is, yes. I'd like to think as my dogs as Christians, but I don't think they really observe Christmas. I don't think they get it. I don't think they understand. I've talked to them about it. They just look at me and drool. We were going to go to Vegas for Christmas. Kind of cool. Vegas is beautiful at Christmas, not real crowded because there's no conventions. And then it happens. They don't go to a bowl game, and Becky and I go, let's just stay at home. Let's not.
I got to admit, I'm pretty excited to get to go home this year. I haven't been home in a while.
Yeah. I'll go with you.
You go to Beloit?
Yeah, I'll go to Beloit. I bet you people get drunk on Christmas in Beloit.
Cheap liquor stores.
Is there any bars in Beloit worth going to?
There's a bar in Beloit.
There's a bar in Beloit.
I can't confirm if it's worth going to. It's fun.
What if I opened up a bar in Beloit?
Here's the thing with the bar in Beloit. Oh, you'd probably do well. Here's the thing with the bar in Beloit. It's the Down Under. That's what it's called.
Oh, so it's Australian themed.
No, it's Down Under the restaurant it is connected to. So, but it's got a pool table. It's whatever. It's a nice setting. It's a cool little place. Nothing crazy. It's either going to be the best night of your life because a bunch of people from back home are all there and it's a lot of fun, or you are going to be drinking beers and playing pool with your high school friends while a bunch of 40 and 50-year-olds that live in Beloit sit at the bar and judge you.
Well, that's the demographic I'm after.
I can confirm that I have been in that environment in both situations, and both are interesting.
Okay, that's my demographic right there.
So you're welcome to come home with me if you want to.
Well, I'm glad everyone has fast-forwarded through the intro of the podcast. We're going to ask some questions now.
Thank you, Zach. Here we go.
Just talking.
So get to Tanner's for bowl season, for NFL season, for, I don't know, like bird hunting season, those shows.
Yeah.
Anything else going on this winter? NHL, NBA. If you're a big NBA fan, go to Tanner's. If I'm there, don't ask them to change the TVs. Here we go.
First question's from Canelio. When we went up 17, give me your honest thoughts at that moment. Very confident. Expected what actually happened.
I was excited for some free Cheez-Its.
I texted the group and said, "Who's ready to walk in Memphis?"
I Googled what day the Liberty Bowl was.
So you've got Liberty Bowl. I'm thinking going back to Phoenix for the 700th time. And we were all hoping for Fort Worth because it's easy to get there and it's the earliest game.
But I'm also going to add this in. I texted the group, "Who's ready to walk in Memphis?" I was pretty confident they're going to win, but I had a small feeling. It didn't feel like – I didn't think they were going to lose, but it didn't feel like they were going to win.
Okay. You're an Iowa State fan, okay? That had to be the most satisfying way to win that game. And if Bill Snyder retires on top of that, you feel like everything he's done to you in the past, it evened it all out right there. That's exactly what Kansas State's done to Iowa State the past umpteen years. Oh, you're the better team for 3 quarters? Not for the last quarter, we win. I mean, that's exactly what K-State's done to them, and that's how the tables were turned. Oh, all you need right now is an incredibly stupid play. Here we go. Here's a fumble/interception. What was it?
It was ruled a fumble.
But
I think it was a fumble.
I don't think it touched the ground.
I think it was a fumble.
It never touched the ground. Yeah. So, whatever it was, there's a touchdown.
It was the most Farmageddon way for that game to happen. And I tweeted it. Someone said this game is not over yet. Crazy things happen in Farmageddon. I quoted it and I said, it would be the most Farmageddon thing to blow a 17-point lead. Then my Twitter mentions were an interesting place to be at, but...
They always are.
Yeah.
I know it wasn't exactly, or it wasn't as much points as the 0-4 loss, but that's what it kind of reminded me of, giving up 28 points in the fourth quarter versus
but like, for real,
3 touchdowns.
What the hell? How? I don't understand how it happened. And I was there.
So Iowa State claims the golden pitchfork. Is that how it works?
I thought it was a tractor.
Yeah, I'm not. That's too
with an asteroid coming down at it.
That's too complicated for me. That's too valuable. A gold tractor, just a pitchfork. Then when the other fan base,
not a full-size tractor like one you can put in a trophy case.
I know, but still, if it's gold, just make a pitchfork.
Next question is from Meow Power. I thought that the final 4th down play call gave us a slim chance to convert, given how we were most likely hoping for a pass interference as well. Did you like the call?
Hated it.
Yeah. Oh,
you liked it? Go for it.
I didn't mind it. You didn't have any momentum. You weren't going to run the ball and get it because they were going to stuff you. Clearly, these little over-the-middle routes, they needed I remember there was one play they needed 13 yards. They ran a 6-yard drag.
I hate that, yeah.
Good call. What are you doing?
That's a good call against your defense that can't tackle at times.
Yeah. It's I don't
defense.
know. I thought it was a fine play. Was it the best play call out there? Probably not. But also, if it's a better thrown ball, or if Schoen finds a way to get open, or if a pass interference is called, I mean, it looks like a genius call. You threw it up, you went for the win, and you trusted your guys. I didn't mind it because to me it showed that you trusted Skylar Thompson could make a play. You trusted Dalton Schoen was the receiver to catch the ball and make that happen. I didn't hate it that much, honestly. Just felt like a play that Iowa State defended well. I don't think there's pass interference either.
I didn't either. I didn't.
I think a lot of people looked at it and said there should have been pass interference.
Well, when I saw it live, I thought, oh. Then I watched the replay and go, no, there's no pass interference here.
Yeah, it was a very clean play. Kind of ironic that the final play is decided on a non-pass interference penalty.
Very satisfying for the clones.
From CatStat88, I saw a lot of comments during the fourth quarter that Skylar and perhaps the whole offense hasn't figured out how to deal with a blitz at this point. Is that on Skylar or is that on Colin Klein?
I didn't feel that way.
No, that wouldn't be on Colin Klein.
The way I see it, a blitz is a blitz. It doesn't matter if you, quote, know how to handle a blitz. Skylar Thompson knows how to handle a blitz, okay? It's just different times or different blitzes, different plays are going to bring different things up.
Yeah, I think there's probably some times there where Skylar needed to check into something different. I thought the play calling at that point became strange. You need to start calling some plays that make them pay for blitzing and not just an occasional screen. There's other things you can execute there.
Speaking of the screen, for years we clamored for the screen. Now we're finally getting the screen. Doesn't it feel like they're relying on the screen too much now?
I don't feel like they executed very well.
It feels like they just kind of call it and hope it all comes to fruition.
I mean, they had Iowa State set up for that center screen that we all remember Sproles catching in the Big 12 championship. And, that Iowa State was just bringing everyone and just releasing and letting Skylar backpedal and throw it over the top. They would have run forever. Mm-hmm. And seriously, they'd still be running. Alex Barnes would.
Right now.
Yeah, when I say forever, I literally mean forever.
Oh.
He'd still be running.
Got it.
Come back, Forrest.
Another one from CatStat88. I was surprised by how easily our offense was moving the ball and scoring through 3 quarters. Is the outcome really due to our fourth quarter collapse or to Iowa State's defense finally waking up?
I didn't feel like the defense for Iowa State, quote unquote, buckled down. I mean, yeah, they made some plays. Obviously, they got the fumble. They did the biggest gain after you went up 17 was an 8-yard pass to Sebastian Taylor. So, yes, to an extent, the Iowa State defense played well, but I just thought K-State got conservative, I thought they played more not to lose. And I know all the questions I asked about that in the postgame were saying, I don't feel like we coasted. I don't feel like we let up, whatever. But I thought I saw a different team out there on the field, We saw them go up 17, playing pretty aggressively, I thought, doing what they do best. And then Iowa State cuts it to 10, and you start to think, okay, well, maybe they're coming back. Well, now we got to be conservative. Now we got to be careful to not make a mistake. And that's just the way I thought they were playing. I think that fumble kind of speaks to it. I think Skylar was probably playing tense, not as relaxed as he had for the first 3 quarters, and that's why you fumble it. And so I don't necessarily credit Iowa State for beefing up the defense, for suddenly snapping out of a funk. I think it was more K-State crumbling and going away from what they did for literally the first 47 minutes of that football game.
Well, I just thought K-State played exceptionally well for 3 quarters.
Yeah.
And then I thought the better team played better down the stretch.
Iowa State is a better football team.
They are a better
football
team.
Out there.
For 3 quarters, though, K-State played its best football of the year, and then it came apart. So that game was kind of defining of the season. This is how good we're capable of playing, and oh, by the way, still lose. So I just thought it was very frustrating.
I like Pickles Cat asks, is Hakeem Butler the best receiver that you have seen since when?
I want a Hakeem Butler so bad. I just want one. Can K-State have one? Oh, wait! K-State does have one. Sebastian Taylor. It's amazing it took 12 games to figure that out.
Yeah, how about that?
It's almost like we said that at the beginning of the year.
This is a whole different topic. I just feel like guys get in Bill Snyder's doghouse and they can't get out no matter how good they are and how much they do things right. The only reason we know this, the only reason Taylor played was Knowles and the other freshmen chose to redshirt and not play. Why they're choosing, I don't know. They should have been told they're not playing. Unless you can make a compelling argument to me why you should play and burn a year of eligibility, you're not going to Ames. That's the right thing to do, not what do you guys want to do? I just thought that whole thing was weird, but that's the only reason he played, and he proved he belonged out there. That was a nice catch in the back of the end zone. Very nice.
I mean, again, I was going to write something on it. I thought we were going to get Sebastian Taylor in the postgame, so I was going to kind of write a story about this, but then we didn't, and so I didn't write the story. Hakeem Butler and the way he played against Kansas State is the perfect example of why Kansas State needs to play Sebastian Taylor. You have this guy that can go up and make plays, and it doesn't matter. Brock Purdy wasn't throwing dimes all day. He was making nice passes, but a few of them, if you watch those replays, they were kind of ducks, weren't the best throwing balls. He was making plays.
Butler dropped some passes.
Yeah.
We want to remember, he made big play after big play. He dropped some balls. So he's not like an incredible receiver. He's a very tall, athletic guy who can catch the ball moderately well and drop some passes. But you don't remember that. You remember the big plays.
And I think that a guy like Isaiah Zuber would flourish better if you utilize Sebastian Taylor. Mm-hmm. And that's what I was going to write about. I was just unfortunate we didn't get to talk to Sebastian.
Shocking.
From Purple Powerhouse, in Snyder's postgame comments, I thought it was a little curious that he said he couldn't remember a game like the Iowa State game. I'm assuming he meant choking away a big lead. Has age erased his memory of the 98 Texas A&M game? It's still pretty fresh in my mind.
I think he probably just wasn't thinking about the general course of the game, but maybe the the context of it.
Prisoner of the moment, too.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, or he meant we've never choked away a game in my final game before retirement.
I mean,
because I won the last one, so maybe that's what he's never been through that before. My last game has never been a loss.
It's almost like,
I don't know.
Although I'll take his comment, I know he didn't mean this by it. It's almost like that comment was referring to, I've never been in a game where we were up 17 and everybody knew we were going to blow it, and then we blew it. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just, it happened exactly what you thought it was going to happen almost. You didn't think it was going to go according to plan. You didn't think K-State was going to coast to victory. And then they did.
Or he's meaning
blow it. They did blow
every
it.
time we've needed to get bowl eligibility, we've done it. And this time we blew it. Maybe. Or maybe he just doesn't remember 1998.
I mean, honestly, when he says that in the postgame, I'm not even thinking, even 98, coach? Like, I'm not thinking about the 1998 Big 12 championship in the postgame press conference there. So I imagine he's not exactly thinking about that either.
From Wildcat Wabash, I know Skyler didn't have a perfect game, but I feel like if we would have been all in on Skyler from the beginning of the season, this level of performance could have been more consistent and happened earlier in the season. Do you agree?
Yes.
Alex Delton should have never started a game this year unless Skyler Thompson was injured.
With you.
I
don't even think it's that. I think they basically allowed the backup quarterback, no matter who it was, to look over the shoulder of the guy who got the start. I'm right here. As soon as you screw up, I'm right here. So they screwed up.
We preached about it from April to August. This is exactly like Jake Waters and Daniel Sams. Exactly like it. And that's what happened. You saw two guys who probably could have done the job well had they been given the full trust of the offense. But instead, we played this back and forth. Who's going to outwork the other person? Who's going to want it more? And you played this dumb back and forth, never get any confidence, never get any consistency at the position. I don't care what the offensive line says, what the receivers say. Oh, we work equally with both of them, so we're comfortable with both. No. Game day is a different thing. You feel differently, you play differently, depending on who's playing quarterback, and the shaking it up does not work. And that's why this offense struggled, a lot of why this offense struggled this year. They did not have a consistent quarterback. And I think if you'd have rode Alex Delton the whole season, if you'd have rode Skyler Thompson the whole season, things would be better, and we would be preparing to cover Kansas State in a bowl game.
Okay, folks, let me tie the first segment of our first half of our podcast to the second half, even though we're not done with the first half. You're talking about a guy who could not make up his mind on a starting quarterback, and now you want him to make up his mind quickly on a retirement. Just be patient here, or maybe it'll never come. Maybe he just plans to go. Maybe people will forget that I ever brought this up and try to just ease into 2019 without ever saying anything. He eased into 18 without saying anything.
Mm-hmm.
We all were, was he coming back? And yeah, I just came back. Right? He never made an announcement.
I mean, K-State put out a release, but
Eventually.
Like in January, saying that they extended his contract.
Yeah. Whatever.
Gave him a new one. Next question is from Meow Power. Did we see Alex Barnes' last game as a Wildcat?
yeah, I think so.
I would say probably. I think if there's a new coaching staff and it's a good system, maybe. But
I think he's probably going to try to go pro,
I think,
especially if the staff returns.
I think that's a mistake.
I do too.
If he's unhappy with his staff, he needs a grad transfer into some place where.
I don't think he's quite there to the NFL level yet.
I agree. I think he made a lot of progress this year. He really grew as a running back this year. He got consistent. His effort got better. He ran better. He read his blocks better. But there's still more there that needs to happen.
I think he needs one season of being like he became the guy after a few games. I know, but like even in the first 2-3 games, you were kind of like, okay, it's Alex Barnes, but also, it's Alex Barnes, but also you've got Justin Silman, you've got Dalvin Warmack. You know, we had these options. I think you need to see K-State in a position where you come out and say, it's Alex Barnes, it's Alex Barnes, it's Alex Barnes, and when they throw it, it's somebody else. But not this running back switching up, it's literally going to be all him, okay? So I think he needs to return. I mean, he's playing one more year and then go off to the NFL, but honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if he declares for the draft here soon.
From Wildcat Wabash, how surprised were you when Bill just came out and said it was up to the freshmen and they decided not to play?
Stunned. Well, hold on. I'm not stunned he said it. I'm stunned he said that. You know, like, he kind of alluded to it to be up to them. But I'm like, no, but I'm just stunned that's
coming out.
Not appropriate. You don't put your freshmen in a position to say no to their coach and let down their team, and you take that off their plate. You're not playing unless you tell me why you need to play. Stay home, be a freshman next year.
I'd say this, good for them. I know none of them are probably listening to this, but good for you.
I admire them if they looked at Bill Snyder and said, no, we're not playing.
That's like, there was no reason, especially now that they lost, but even if they'd have won, there was no reason to burn their red shirts.
Cheez-It Bowl.
I like how you're assuming they would have gone to the Cheez-It Bowl.
Because I hate it. So, yeah.
Because it would have been the worst financially for the company.
It would have been the worst mentally for me all around, the Cheez-It Bowl.
No, we didn't deserve that again. Not being able to film the game again.
That's why. Well, yeah.
Zach wouldn't have gone.
There's almost no reason to send him if you can't film the game.
Okay. Last question of the first half from CCL27. Is there anything to get excited about for next year's football season?
It's such a tough question right now because of the uncertainty at the coaching staff right now.
Well, let me say, maybe I step on a question next half, but let me just put it this way. I really fear that if Bill Snyder is back, you're going to see a drop in ticket sales. You're going to see a drop in donations. You're going to see a further erosion of productivity on the field. You're going to see just general enthusiasm amongst the fan base drop. Everything's stagnated. Everything's just stagnant right now. Recruiting is okay, not great. No, recruiting is passable. Like, putting in the minimum effort to get by. It's almost like they're recruiting that way now. What can we do to just be okay next season? What can we do to chase another bowl game with really good kids and barely get to 6-6? I mean, that's really I put this in my column. That's the dividing line with the fan base. There's the fans that think 6-6 is great because it was so bad before Bill Snyder. And there's the fans that think 6-6 sucks because Bill Snyder's proven you can be better than that at Kansas State. That's really it. And being stuck in the middle is almost the worst thing. There's nothing definitive either direction. And the fan base is divided. So, yeah, unless a new coach comes in, I don't think in general the fan base will have much to look forward to. I think you're going to have a really, really miserable off season because we're going to start writing stories, if Bill Snyder is indeed coming back, about the prominent players that plan to leave. It's coming. I'll be shocked if it doesn't come. It'll start probably with Alex Barnes. He'll declare for the draft. Then other guys will follow. And if what we're hearing is going to take place, you are going to be amazed at what takes place. It's bad inside Veneer. We've known it. We've hinted at it. It's coming to a head, and if there's ever been a time for a graceful change of power, it's now, and let's hope it takes place. When we get back on the Powercat Podcast, we're going to get into the Bill Snyder topic full-fledged with your questions from Wabash Station. We're sponsored by The Fridge. That first half was brought to you by Tanner's and Fitz, Riley, and Zachtoberfest Ale. That's the worst nickname ever. We'll be right back.
The Powercat Podcast continues shortly.
I'm trying to get a group text in on what everybody wants on the liquor store run, but my phone keeps autocorrecting liquor store to the fridge.
A fridge or the fridge?
The fridge. It just did it again.
Well, the Fridge is more than just a liquor store. The Fridge has over 3,000 wines in stock, the area's largest selection of spirits and craft beers. Plus, they're back-to-back winners of Beverage Dynamics Retailer of the Year.
Oh, I get it. Wow. Smartphone.
Autocorrect your next liquor store visit to the Fridge Wholesale Liquor, 1150 Westport in Manhattan. Online at fridgeliquor.com.
For more than 20 years, there's only been one reliable source for exclusive and unmatched premium K-State sports news content. It's GoPowercat.com. The tradition continues as Tim Fitzgerald, D. Scott Fritchen, and the other Go PowerCat sports experts continue their relentless coverage of K-State sports. So make sure you're subscribing to the one and only Go PowerCat. Hey, K-State fans, it's time to come home to GoPowerCat.com. We now return to the Powercat Podcast.
Welcome back to the Powercat Podcast. Tim Fitzgerald, Riley Gates, Zach Carlson, sponsored by the Fridge. Get into the Fridge. Take all of your money out of your bank account, put it in your pockets, and go to the Fridge.
I know it'd be good for our sponsors.
Yeah.
It'd be a hell of a night.
Huh?
I don't advise all of your money though.
Well,
That's a lot of bottles of Dom Perignon.
I'm okay. Leave like $50 in savings for an emergency.
$50.
It's a minor emergency, granted, but it'll be emergency.
Gotta have $5 to keep the account open. So,
And then take the rest of the money to the Fridge and say, just don't even go shopping. Just walk up to the counter, put your money on the counter, and say, "Feed me. Just give me all the alcohol." And then they'll do the shopping for you. It's a new courtesy of the Fridge. They will shop for you if you have enough money.
honestly, if you took all the money in your bank account and brought it to the Fridge, they'd probably just let you take whatever you want, even if you spend more than you brought in. Like, that's a lot of money.
Yeah. So just do that and make everyone at the Fridge happy and screw yourself over. The Fridge at the corner of Claflin and West Loop.
Westport.
Westport!
God, Fitz. How many years has the Fridge been a sponsor of this podcast?
Get it right.
It has been 0 days since the last podcast incident. God. Reset the wall counter.
You live nearby there. You are 2 minutes from Westport
I
Drive.
drive by it every day. Every day.
God.
Man. And the segment's brought to you by Wahoo Fire and Ice Grill. I'm so overdue for Wahoo. Oh man, I just football season. The end of football season just wears me out. I don't do enough. I don't make myself happy. And I'm going to go there for fajita night Thursday night. I'm going to make myself happy.
Now that football season's over, it's just like we can do whatever we want, essentially. We have a much more consistent schedule in football than we do in basketball.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, our consistent football schedule doesn't exactly line up with a lot.
Well, it's very structured because we basically have something every day.
Right.
I mean, you don't work, like all of us don't work 8 hours on Friday unless it's driving.
I don't come in on Friday.
But you still got to do stuff.
Right.
Even if it's posting stuff on the message, it's just kind of always there. You know, it just doesn't. Then you get through the structure of football and you get a little time to relax. And this year it was great because I had the holiday weekend. I didn't go to Ames. And then on Monday, I didn't really have anything on my schedule. So it was almost like a 5-day weekend. We're going to get heavy now, aren't we?
Ours was like a 4-day weekend because we were stuck in Ames.
Oh, that's right.
And in Des Moines. You guys ever want a vacation? Go to Des Moines.
More specifically,
Urbandale, excuse me.
As long as it's that Hilton Garden Inn right across from Poncheros, I'm good.
Yeah.
Zach and I ate Poncheros twice in a 24-hour span.
I feel like we should get a
48.
sponsorship from that Garden Inn because it's the official
just
hotel
any
of GoPowerCat.com when we go to Ames, Iowa. We stop in Urbandale, North Des Moines, and split the difference.
You know what's funny? When I checked in, the GM was checking people in. And he's like, "Have you stayed here before?" And I was like, "Yeah, I stayed here before." Like, literally once. He's like, "I thought I recognized you." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Fair enough."
I call BS, but Whatever.
Maybe he's just got a great memory.
You haven't stayed there in, what?
been 4 years.
I was going to say, it had been 2 road trips.
He probably recognizes your name.
Yeah.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Questions from Wabash Station. We are going to dive deeply here, I am told. I have not heard any of these questions, not read any of these questions. I intentionally usually stay out of the questions thread so that you get the spontaneous reactions of an Irish hothead on the Powercat podcast.
Okay. From Purple Powerhouse leads us off.
Shut up. I'm sorry. I got overreacted.
That's not how we sell customers.
Sorry.
Can Gene Taylor really afford to let Snyder take his time deciding to retire?
Depends how long his, quote-unquote, his time is.
I think he's got a week. I think he's giving him this week.
Personally, I think a decision needs to be made by Friday.
I think I would agree with you, but I think it's going to go till Monday. It's going to give him think about it. I mean, he comes off that loss Iowa State. He doesn't have a weekend. I mean,
I just think so many jobs are opening up right now, and so many other schools are getting out on the trail right now.
Normally, I'd agree with you, but this is a year where there's more candidates than jobs. There's some really good candidates and not a lot of jobs open. It feels like it, but
Not a lot of jobs open right now. But what we know to be true in college football is jobs start to open up, coaches start to go places right in the middle of bowl season. Because what's the question always? Is he going to coach the bowl? Is he going to stay with the team through the bowl?
They're moving to go coach somewhere else. There's just not that many open postseason for teams that didn't qualify for bowls.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I
just don't think.
I personally don't think, getting back to the question, you can't afford it. And here's what's unique about this. Usually an athletics director, once they make a hire, that kind of starts their clock. When you hire a football or men's basketball coach, that's when your timetable starts. That's when people start really wanting to judge you, unless you totally screw up the finances or NCAA stuff, or usually it's about the hiring. This is a unique situation. Gene Taylor's clock starts right now. Right now. And it doesn't matter if Bill Snyder comes back or he makes that hire, like I just said. He's going to get this on his naughty or nice list for K-State fans. So if he brings back, allows Bill Snyder to come back, and they go 2-10 next year, and players have transferred, and fundraising drops, and ticket sales drop, that sits at his feet. That's almost more his fault than Bill Snyder's fault.
Agreed.
Sometimes you got to save someone from doing something ill-advised, and Bill Snyder coming back with what they are facing, how they have under-recruited, how they've mismanaged the roster, is a horrific idea for the legacy of Bill Snyder.
It's like what I said on the radio today. We sat here and talk about, what we're hearing. We're hearing that these players are thinking about leaving the program. We're hearing this and that. There's no way Gene Taylor doesn't know about it.
Well, he knows all about it.
Exactly. So if you allow it, it's on you.
Yeah.
From Wagcat, is it possible that if Snyder doesn't announce his retirement soon, in the next few weeks, that there are really only 2 possibilities? 1, Snyder's returning. 2, someone like Venables, who is likely coaching in a high-profile postseason game, is potentially on board.
I think if you don't hear about it by Monday, he will be back.
Well, I don't think I'm going to say he plans to be back.
I don't see a world in where Bill Snyder says, I want to be back, and Gene Taylor disagrees but allows it to go past Monday.
Well, I think I don't know. I can see a scenario where Bill Snyder announces he wants to come back. Maybe not through K-State, but somehow, he tells the players and it gets out, I'll be back at that Monday meeting. And K-State, Gene Taylor and Richard Myers have to say, hold on here. Hold on.
I would like to think Gene Taylor wouldn't be undercut like that.
I would like to think that too, but I've said this on the website. I think this is going to get really interesting, and I hope it stays behind closed doors. I hope the offer is you're either going to retire or you're going to retire. I mean, no matter what we put out, it's going to be retirement, but how do you want to handle it? Do you want to know you chose your fate, or are we going to retire you? because it's coming to that, and it makes me so sad. It makes me disgusted and sad that we have to talk about it. Well, it's so obvious to so many people, and it's not about what's good for K-State football at this point from the Snyder family. It's just not.
From CCL 27.
No, hold on. Let me stop.
Oh.
They think it is. They've convinced themselves it is, but it's really not. It's what's best here for them. And it really is. I will talk to my family, and I will decide. And all of his answers, none of it's about, and we have to evaluate what's the best going forward for K-State football. Thanks, Zach. So Zach just hit the microphone to our blinds. He had to go out of his way to do it, but it was good. That was his way of saying, "Shut up, boss." I was asking a question. Go.
Are you not going to complete the thought?
I did.
Did you?
He did.
I did.
Okay.
I mean, he did.
Okay.
The blinds covered it up.
All right. From CCL 27, if Venables and Levitt both get Power 5 head coaching jobs, especially Texas Tech, how big will the meltdown in Manhattan be?
Well, if it's Texas Tech, yeah, because you're going to face them every year. It's like Brad Underwood going to Oklahoma State. But
times 10.
Let me put it this way. I don't think
Venables is doing anything.
I don't think Venables is going anywhere.
I don't think Venables is going anywhere until asked to go somewhere.
Because, frankly, I think there's about 3 or 4 jobs in the country he would take. I think Clemson is one, and I think Kansas State is one.
But not right after Bill Snyder.
Yes. But also, I don't know. To me, the Brent Venables dream is starting to feel more and more like a hypothetical than a realistic option.
His answer to the question at the South Carolina press conference on Monday, right, was really interesting. And I was on Kevin Keatsman's show on WHB, and they played the sound back. And so I got to hear the actual answer instead of just read the answer. And, boys, the context changes. Mm-hmm. And that happens with written words and actually hearing the quote. He sounded really non-committal and almost like he was faking the answer at the start until he got to his son. And then he sounded very definitive. I'm not going to do that. It sounded like I'm staying here to coach my son. I sold him this dream that we would work together at Clemson. You know, people are technical. We bring your son. Nobody's dream is to bring their son to Lubbock, Texas, or maybe even Manhattan, Kansas, even though it's home. They're playing on a national stage at Clemson. You know, and I don't think we were going to play for national titles at Clemson, but now we're going to go rebuild another program.
We're going to go play for the Cotton Bowl.
Yeah, that's not the same thing. So I think he's going to stay put at least through his son's career, and then we'll see what happens. But, yeah. And as for Levitt, less of a meltdown. You know, maybe Gene Taylor determines Jim Levitt and him and K-State aren't the fit everyone else sees. I don't know. And he ends up in Texas Tech. I think then Kirby Holcutt's got a whole lot of explaining to do to his fan base why he hired a 62-year-old defense coordinator who's never been a head coach at a Power 5 program. So it was a Power 6 program, technically, briefly.
Something tells me, let's just say hypothetically both of them got a head coaching job at a P5. Something tells me people would react stronger to Brent Venables getting a different job than they would Jim Levitt. But actually, they should react stronger to Jim Levitt.
Right.
Because Jim Levitt is the more realistic option for K-State between the two right now.
Well, if Venables would get another job, it's going to be, I don't even know what's open. Let's say Urban Meyer leaves, it'd be Ohio State. I don't think it would be. Don't get me wrong. But it's going to be a national job, like Bob Stoops going to Oklahoma. Maybe a program that was down and then this guy comes in, or an SEC program.
Arkansas.
You know, maybe even that gets into the little gray area. But if Jim Levitt gets a head coaching job, it's going to be Texas Tech. Something very comparable, very tangible that, you know, why did they get him and we didn't? We'll see. And I think Kevin Keatsman brought up a great point when he had John Kurtz on his show today, and we listened to that it's really generational. The older generation understands Jim Levitt, appreciates him, and wants him. The younger generation doesn't get it. He's just some old fart that's been a defensive coordinator for too long.
For the record, I'm in the newer generation, and I would like to have Jim Levitt be the next head coach of Kansas State.
Yeah, so...
I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah. I don't know. I understand that. I think the search will start with those two, but he will quickly vet them to know if they want the job and if he wants them, and then with all chances he might just move on from there.
From Lady Cat in Texas, how much inner turmoil is going on within the football program from coaches to players the last couple of years? We all suspect this is the reason Del Miller and Dana Dimmel left, as well as others going into retirement.
It is. It's
It's not
drama
good, guys.
on the assistant coaching staff. Mike Cox got blamed and he got fired. Dana Dimmel got blamed and he left. There's still ongoing drama. Maybe it's not been any of those guys at any time.
I'm just saying. I'm going to put it this way. We're good at our jobs, okay? We're good at figuring out stuff.
I like it when you say that.
I know. We're good at touching base with people, trying to get some inside information. And so is everybody else on the beat. However, when this much stuff is getting leaked, this much locker room disagreement, this much coaching battles, when that much is out there and we're getting our hands on it as easily as we are, that's an issue. Because that means that people, we're not trying, like, yes, we're trying to get stuff, but we're not like calling up people every day. Hey, anything bad going on? Anything you want to tell us about? People are coming to us.
Yeah.
And that's bad because in a clean program, in a program that works well, has everything clicking, everything stays in house. Everything's fine.
I'll say it this way. You know me, I like to say what's on my mind. In a world in which the players, their family, and staff and assistant coaches fully respect Bill Snyder and his rules of engagement with information, this doesn't get out. When it's not him enforcing the rules and it's not him bitching at them, people laugh and go about their business and send out information. It's all changed. So, and that's, it's just not the same program. It's not, unfortunately.
From Colorado Cat, I know it was already posted about the K-Man talk with Gene Taylor. Can you and the staff talk a little bit about what you derived from it and Gene Taylor's statements and inferred timelines and his confidence in K-State landing a good coach, if that is the decision?
The biggest takeaway that I had from his interview with John was when he said, we will get something settled, not we will decide on something. Mm-hmm. Between him and Bill Snyder, we hope to have something settled by the end of the week. It tells me there's a lot of disagreements, whether it's Bill Snyder and Gene Taylor, whether it's Gene Taylor and President Myers and Bill Snyder. We is a very broad statement there. That could mean Sean. That could mean anybody, honestly. I think that was a pretty telling statement, and one that people might have glossed over just because sometimes you don't necessarily read into the words. But I thought Gene was shockingly forthcoming.
I thought John did a really good job getting him to talk. Mm-hmm. I did. And that happens when the interviewee is comfortable with the interviewer. Mm-hmm. And he got him to say some stuff. Some of it, I think people read too much into it, and other things, I think there was some real substance there. His timetable. What you pointed out, I think, was real substantive. I think his message that the president and I was a direct volley back to Bill Snyder, who said that if the president, players, and fans want me out, I'll leave, not the AD, because the AD's already told me. So I'm appealing above him to the president. I think he was volleying back, well, the president's on board with me, so your play now. I thought there was a lot there, and it was intriguing. It really was. I am shocked he did the interview. I thought with everything going on, he would just pass.
I did too. But also, if he passes, and this is not a shot at John, John goes on the air and says, we reached out to Gene Taylor, and he declined the interview. And that might look like you're trying to hide stuff. Right. You're trying to run from it, so...
From Eric Schneid. I think that's a new name.
Yeah, it's new. I didn't know how to pronounce it, really.
I'm going to go Schneid. Correct us if we're wrong. Assuming Bill Snyder hangs up the assuming he hangs up the windbreaker and the Nike Cortezes on the national stage, how desirable is the head coaching job here at K-State?
Honestly,
it's a pretty good job. You got great facilities. You've got some tradition. You've got loyal fans. With the downsides of it, you don't have a really long, rich tradition. I mean, you're not an established program. You're not in Arkansas, as you just mentioned, which hasn't had a lot of success since they went to the SEC. But football people remember what a power they were in the Southwest Conference. They're kind of the poster child for why you don't change conferences. They ruined their football tradition in some
Nebraska.
ways. Nebraska's in the process of doing that, although I think Frost will get them back.
I think it's...
so it's not on that stage, but I think it's a good job. It's not a particularly good job from the standpoint where you don't have a natural recruiting base. You can't. It's not like a job in a metroplex somewhere where you can walk in and say, "There's players, there's players, there's players, there's players." In some ways, you're better off recruiting at Central Florida, even though you're not in a Power 5, because you got players all over the place. I mean, that's why Jim Leavitt was able to build South Florida. He was able to go out and identify players that were people were missing on, and they weren't from Wiggins, Colorado. They were from Tampa. And they were really, really incredible athletes. So, I think it's a good job, not a great job. But I'll say this: I think the shadow of Bill Snyder in the current context is much less than it was the first time around.
It's a job that someone like and I'm just using him because he's the first guy that came to head. It's a job that someone like Seth Luttrell, who is doing nice things on a national stage, would probably take because it's a step up. And it's a really good program, but it's not a program that a national commodity coach that has, like an Ohio State, oh man, I can't even come up with things. But what I'm trying to say is that if there's a hot name out there that a lot of people want, Kansas State's probably not going to be at the top of his list if there's a higher, better option out there. It's not a top Power 5 program, but it's definitely not the bottom of the Power 5.
It is in the middle. It gives a coach an ability to coach up into Big 12 title contenders, but you also aren't going to. If you're a guy that wants to get 4- and 5-star recruits to go win games, you're not going to. You're just not. You're never going to get a slew of those guys. You can get some of those guys, but you're never going to get what Oklahoma gets.
Yeah.
From KSU Man, if Snyder stays, how many players leave, and what does that put the scholarship player count down to?
I mean, we don't know an exact number.
I'll just say 5, and it could be 10.
There'll be players that'll leave if he leaves. I mean, honestly, guys, it's just attrition in general. It happens. Substantial players are going to be gone.
Sounds like it. Any departures will drop this program with scholarship players in spring below 50.
God, that's literally KU, man.
Well, and it's literally what he picked up.
Yeah.
I want to leave it better. Well, you just went 5-7. You replaced Ron Prince, who went 5-7, and I think you're going to leave the next coach if you retire fewer scholarship players than you got from Ron Prince. And come on, man. Really, this is craziness. It's craziness. It's run against everything you said on that day when you said you were coming out of retirement. I'm sad.
Yeah.
From Wildcat Wabash, everybody gets frustrated that Bill wants his son to be head coach. However, shouldn't we put a lot of the blame on Sean? He could tell his dad he doesn't want it. He clearly has a giant ego and thinks way too highly of himself. It's why I don't want him anywhere near the program after Bill retires.
Who's that from?
Wildcat Wabash.
That's a great question. I agree.
Tip of the cap, Wildcat Wabash.
It's all would be a non-factor if Sean had come out and publicly said. People said, "Well, Sean told me he doesn't want to be the head coach." Well, that's great. He told you over a beer or 7. But it would have been great to say, "I have no interest in being the head coach here. I've told my father that. Let's move on from this." This has been an ongoing distraction, not for the fans and not just for the fans, but for that coaching staff. This has been a point of contention. Dana Dimmel at one point was seen as a possible successor to Bill Snyder. Now granted, that eroded with the offense, but there was a lot of organized, tearing him down to make that happen. This has been a distraction. It's an ongoing distraction, and I don't know who's going to get hired But I would hope that they're allowed to hire all of their coaches without a pre-designated, you have to keep this and that and that. No, it's a new coach, a new program. Let them do what they want. This is what I really want, and it won't happen. If he has a desire to be a head coach, you don't get to skip steps, right? Art Briles' son, Kendall, is about to become the coach at Texas State. He was linked to it. Maybe that's going to happen. Sean, that's a perfect job. Stephen F. Austin, a 1AA, FCS program's coming open. It's open. Yeah? If you want to be a head coach, prove it.
At least go be a real coordinator somewhere.
If you want to be a head coach, don't wait to be given it. Earn it. It's my frustration with it. It's this whole monarchy mindset sickens me. It's about K-State football. It's the K-State football program. I love Bill Snyder. I so admire him. I wouldn't be doing anything else. I mean, I'd be doing something else now if not for him. But at the end of the day, and I want everyone to hear this, at the end of the day, he was a very valuable employee who was hired to do a specific task and did it exceedingly well for a long period of time. But he's an employee. He doesn't own the company. And once a performance drops, even if that performance is measured against the very bar that you set yourself, you're an employee. This is Kansas State's football program. Right now, it doesn't belong to Bill Snyder. It belongs to Gene Taylor and Richard Myers. They're the guys in charge of it.
From Bootsay, if Snyder leaves, what is our budget for a new head coach?
K-State's got the money.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think they're going to.
They're not going to do something stupid and pay
here's $6 million, Seth Luttrell. You know, they're going to pay. I think Gene Taylor's going to pay what a coach is worth. Now, I could start a whole thing about how athletic directors need to stop this nonsense. The fact that Gus Malzahn has a $32 million buyout, if Auburn would want to fire him, is freaking ridiculous.
What is that?
Who signs that kind of contract? That
Gus Malzahn signs that kind of contract.
All right, what school signs that contract? I don't care if you're Nick Saban. If Nick Saban came out tomorrow and said, I want to be the next head coach at Kansas State, but I'll only do it for a $32 million buyout. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, this is my problem. Nick Saban has an incredible contract at Alabama, but he's escalated up to that. He's proven he's worth every penny of it. And now you don't have to prove a damn thing. You pay Charlie Weiss up front. And the guy's a freaking clown, minus the makeup. Maybe worse than makeup. But it's just craziness to me what these athletics directors are doing. Be a good steward of your finances, for God's sakes. So, yeah, they can pay. I think really the question is here, for me, isn't about what you're going to pay the head coach. It's what you're going to put into the coordinators, the assistant coaches, and support staff. Because God knows Kansas State needs to go out and hire about 10 more people to be support staff for football, right? Maybe 20. I mean, there are you can hire so many more people. And I've said this. I wish Kansas State would build something new for the athletic department personnel to move into, and the third floor of the Veneer Complex would go to football support staff. Get athletics out of the football complex into their own thing. Hey, maybe on the east side of the stadium. And give it all to support staff for football because you need it. You absolutely need it.
From KSU, man, this is the last question of the second half.
Oh, wow.
Has there been a more stressful week at the GPC headquarters?
I just wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah, it's really
not a magazine week.
Yeah, I'm telling you what, those magazine weeks that overlapped.
It's not so much.
It was the basketball preview magazine week was always the worst because you had the overlap basketball, football, and you're doing that magazine. But yeah, no, it's.
Here's the thing: it's not stressful yet because, I mean, we're doing stuff. Let me think how I want to say this. We're not covering anything yet, okay? We're thinking of a lot of hypotheticals. We're looking into some situations that are or not taking place right now. We're working a lot of sources. But until a decision comes forth or we get some word of a retirement, that's when it starts to get real stressful because that's when you start vetting people.
Yeah, we're not buying into a lot of there's just a lot of noise out there. And we're trying to cut through the noise and really just get to what's going on. Because I think a lot of people are just feeding off of snack food.
Here's what I'm going to say. I've seen it everywhere. Multiple places, our board, everywhere. People have said, I don't even care if it's a backed up tidbit or if it's just a simple rumor you've heard. I love to have this conversation. I understand it. It's a message board. It's social media. You like to talk. You like to think about hypotheticals.
But that's not our job.
That's not what you do.
That's not what we do. That's not how we approach it. We're not just going to throw stuff out there to tickle your fancy. That's not what we do. Here's my bottom line. If we know something, really are confident of something, we will share it on our message board. If we feel like it's time that it's news, you report it on your front page. You share on your message board, you report on your front page. And I'm not going to get into, well, we've heard the da-da-da. We've heard so many wild rumors, and there's no substance to them. What would possibly be the source of these rumors? Gene Taylor is not telling anyone anything in his own department. Other than maybe that he expects Snyder to be, to retire at the end of the year because donors were told that. And we did report that because we've got multiple donors said, I was told point blank by people in the department, Coach Snyder will retire. We reported that. We put that into stories. We put that on the message boards. We shared it with you. But, just throwing stuff out,
sitting here and claiming that
I'm not gonna do that to you. I'm not
going
to do it to you.
Have mutual interest in the job. That's such a wide cast net that you get to say. It's not a report. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to accuse Texas Tech writers right now. I think Texas Tech writers are throwing stuff at the wall and hoping it sticks.
There's a lot of that in this industry now. A lot of people are just throwing stuff out and to see if it sticks.
Because if it sticks, you look like the genius. If it doesn't, things fell through.
And trust me, this comes from a guy who reported something that to this day I would report again, and it ended up being wrong with Gary Patterson. I had so many sources on that. I was 100% right, and then it all changed. And it changes, and you just got to cut through it. And again, like I just said, I would report that again because it was absolutely true on that day. And no, I didn't screw it up. That's not how the real world
is. Your
works.
fault, Fitz.
That's just so childish and idiotic.
We would be in a bowl game if it weren't for Tim Fitzgerald.
It's so weird. Yeah. No, it's not my job to keep secrets. It's my job to report news. Okay? If you want me to work for the athletic department and keep their secrets, look,
I could be persuaded because they'd probably pay me more.
Bye, guys.
If a source says, hey, don't put this out there yet, we don't put it out. But if they don't say that, we don't sit on it because why would we? It's just craziness. When we have stuff of substance, we will either share it on our message board or report it on the record on our front page. And I'm going to say this. I'm never going to claim we had it first if I just kind of snuck it onto a message board. I have it first when I put it on my front page, when we put it on our front page. That's how it works. You're a news service, so I'm not just going to put stuff on the message board and say, well, that's good enough. When it's time, it's going on the front page. And if it doesn't go on the front page, I didn't have it first. I didn't report it publicly. I put it behind a paywall without a headline on the front page. I just think it's a big deal. And I think there's a lot of people out there, and you said it, in all the jobs that are open, I'm going to say this name, and then I'll be able to say, I had it first.
It's like yesterday with the North Carolina stuff. Our friends over on the North Carolina 24/7 site report on the front page, Mac Brown is taking the job. Okay? They got it. They are the first to report it. And then you see Brett McMurphy and, who was it? It was another national writer. I think it was George Schroeder, maybe. I forget who. I shouldn't say, but whoever it was. They come out. As reported by the North Carolina site, Mac Brown, in communication to be the next head coach. However, my sources are telling me it's not done yet. It's probably going to happen, but it's not done yet. This industry is just so much. I want to be known as someone that reported something. I don't want to have to credit somebody else.
Look, when there's an opening, we will put out a hot board immediately. We've got a hot board ready to go right now. But just because we have them on the hot board, we're not going to claim, well, we told you. Well, I told you. It was right there on the hot board. We had it first. That's not how it works. We'll constantly update that hot board as we learn more and more stuff, and there's more and more tangible information. And at the point of an actual search, it starts leaking on both ends. You start hearing, if Gene Taylor goes to Troy, Alabama to talk to the coach there, Neil Brown, that'll get out in Troy, Alabama. That's how these searches work. And so follow along at Go Powercat. You can rely on our information. We know what we're doing. We know the smoke. We know the mirrors. We know the noise and what you need to really hear. We're not in the business of teasing and tantalizing you. We're in the business of informing you, and that's what we're going to continue to do. And I know it might seem like we're holding stuff back, but we're really not. There's just not a lot actually out there that's tangible. There just isn't. We'll be back on the other side of this break. We're the Powercat Podcast, sponsored by Fridge Wholesale Liquor. And after that, you probably need a drink.
The gang will return with more of the Powercat Podcast.
I'm trying to get a group text in on what everybody wants on the liquor store run, but my phone keeps autocorrecting liquor store to the fridge.
A fridge or the fridge?
The fridge. It just did it again.
Well, the Fridge is more than just a liquor store. The Fridge has over 3,000 wines in stock, the area's largest selection of spirits and craft beers. Plus, they're back-to-back winners of Beverage Dynamics Retailer of the Year.
Oh, I get it. Wow. Smartphone.
Autocorrect your next liquor store visit to the Fridge Wholesale Liquor, 1150 Westport in Manhattan. Online at fridgeliquor.com.
For more than 20 years, there's only been one reliable source for exclusive and unmatched premium K-State sports news content. It's GoPowercat.com. The tradition continues as Tim Fitzgerald, D. Scott Fritchen, and the other Go Powercat sports experts continue their relentless coverage of K-State sports. So make sure you're subscribing to the one and only Go Powercat. Hey, K-State fans, it's time to come home to GoPowercat.com. Back to Fitz on the Powercat Podcast, sponsored by Fridge Wholesale Liquor.
Here we go. It's the overtime period of the Powercat Podcast. Oh, we got into it in the last period.
Yeah, we did.
The second half, man. I expended some emotional energy.
Good for you, boss.
I know. Emotional energy.
You said that like Trump.
China. We better exert all of our efforts here before we cover a coaching search at the end of this week.
Exactly. Tim Fitzgerald relegates Zach Carlson, who I call Oktoberfest Ale. Zachtoberfest Ale.
Oh, come on.
I'm screwing up all over the place.
Can I get an Oktoberfest Ale at the corner of Claflin and West Loop? Right?
Something.
Eastport Drive. Oh, dang it.
Speaking of which, we are sponsored by The Fridge. Get into The Fridge. Give them all of your savings. We've covered this earlier. I'm recapping. Take your money, take it to The Fridge, spend it on delicious products. Leave. Go home. You don't even have to drink it.
Go to the casino. All on black. It hits. Do it again. Then buy the alcohol.
Right. There we go. Life advice from Fritz. From Fritz. That's what you get when you combine Fitz and the Fridge.
Welcome to the overtime.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Here we go.
Our boss has cancer.
Dude, did you see what the Hilo did?
Apparently it's in his brain.
Did you see what the Hilo did this week?
Hilo.
Got a new menu.
What?
Yeah. They tweeted it out. New menu and everything.
What's on it?
I can't tell. I forget what the tweet says if I can pull it up here. I don't know if they added new things or if they just took some things, gave it a new look.
They took the pepperoni bricks off. I'm going to fight them.
I hope that they
fight them.
took them
We
off
have
and put the
revamped our
garlic knots
menu,
in.
kept the classics, and added a few new twists.
Here we go. What are the new twists at the high-low?
Well, I don't have their menu memorized, so I couldn't tell you like which one was on there, which one wasn't on there. It's new look. Look at that.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So now I'm not going to sit here and like tell you what's different because like I love the high-low, but I don't memorize their menu.
Hey, are there garlic knots on there?
I'm not saying that there's not. I'm looking.
You're looking at it crooked, too.
Well, the picture's crooked.
I know. That's what I mean. On your phone and crooked.
I mean, if there's no garlic knots, then I
this.
don't care. That's the only thing I want.
This is the best ad ever for the high-low.
Cheese
Right there.
bricks, pepperoni bricks,
Cheese
fries,
Cheese bricks are
wings, chickaronis.
I don't know what that is.
It is
Sounds like chicken and macaroni. Am I right?
lightly breaded fried chicken skins and thigh meat served with ancho rancho.
What is ancho rancho? Anchovy ranch?
I don't know, man.
Get into the high-low and find out.
Get into the high-low. It's really good food.
That thigh meat.
Play a little
Tell them that we read a great ad for them.
Milwaukee roulette. Yeah, it's an incredible ad. Go
But
see
I was
Seth.
just
Go
telling
see
you
the
that they
whole
got a new
gang.
menu. Like
I love the high-low. You want to go eat at the high-low after this?
they're closed, aren't they? Oh no, they're not. That's stupid.
It's Tuesday.
All right, maybe.
I don't know.
We'll see.
We'll see. We might go eat there. We got a lot to discuss here in the overtime, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, and it's kind of more fun stuff.
Oh yes.
Good. We need that. We need that. I mean, honestly, if I kept talking about what we talked about in the second half, I was going to go full watching the Up movie on you and just start crying.
Oh, that's not good.
No. I don't want it to end this way. There we go. There's our reads. Zach, it's all you, man.
All right.
Here we go.
From AZCat05, do you think Dalvin Warmack regrets not going somewhere else this year?
I have no idea.
That's tough. Tough to tell.
I bet you Justin Soman regrets not going somewhere else this year. How about that guy? He went basically from part-time starter to nothing.
I mean, basically, here's the thing with Dalvin. It's like, did you want to be a small piece on a team in the Power 5 that almost went to a bowl game, could have gone to a big bowl game, or you go to Colorado State, or heck, I don't even know where else he was probably looking, but I don't think Colorado State's on a bowl game this year, are they? Couldn't tell you off the top of my head, but nah. I think when it's all said and done, Dalvin's going to be, just knowing Dalvin personally, I think he's probably pretty content with his time here in
think
Manhattan.
part of what Dalvin came to the conclusion was, other than not enough playing time, and he got more playing time this year, I like Kansas State. I like my people. I like my friends. And he kind of just said, you know what, I'm going to stick with the college experience here.
Dalvin likes Manhattan. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and his little brother came here, so that's interesting.
From CCL27, do I have to root for Oklahoma for a better chance at the Big 12 getting in the playoff? I really don't want to.
Well, the college football playoff rankings just came out. Oklahoma's number 5.
Ohio State's 4.
Ohio State's 6.
Oh, good.
Georgia's 4.
I'm shocked.
I'm shocked, but I also believe that if Ohio State wins the Big Ten championship, they will be in, and Oklahoma will not be.
So
and I don't agree with it.
Let's say this. Oklahoma beats Texas 40-30. Ohio State beats Northwestern 30-20. Okay?
Ohio State.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think they do it again.
I don't agree with it, but I think they're in.
Even though you look at the loss, Ohio State lost badly to a team that isn't that great. Okay. And Oklahoma would have lost a very close game to a team it beat in a rematch. There's no question who belongs in.
Here's my, and I know you guys are all going to know who I'm talking about, but Team A, 5th in the FPI, 6th in the strength of record, 34th in the strength of schedule, 3 top 25 wins, and their loss was 3 points to Texas.
Kansas City Chiefs.
Ohio State, that was Oklahoma in case you can't tell.
I got it.
Ohio State, 6th in the FPI, 5th in strength of record, 48th in strength of schedule, 2 top 25 wins, lost Purdue by 29.
Clearly, Ohio State belongs.
Oklahoma has a better measurement in everything, and yet I still don't believe they'll be in the college football playoff unless Northwestern wins.
How's Central Florida doing, though?
Screw Central Florida. Get out of here with that. Play somebody, then call me.
Okay, let's throw this out there. What if both Oklahoma and Ohio State lose and Georgia gets absolutely decked by Alabama?
Georgia's in.
Yeah, I think Georgia's in. I would love to. Screw it. Nobody's
loss
definitive. We're putting you in, Central Florida. Go play Alabama.
Won't happen.
I know it won't happen, but I think
They don't deserve it. I'm sorry. I'd rather see it.
I know what you think,
It's
but I
made
think
for TV.
I think it would
That's
be
why we
entertaining.
have a committee.
I'd rather see a 2-loss SEC team than Central Florida.
Yeah,
I think you're crazy. I think
Strong.
everyone is tuning
Play
in.
somebody.
Alabama, Central Florida, both undefeated, would be the biggest game. I don't care if it's a good game. I'm saying that more people would be tuned in
For
at
the
the
first
beginning of
quarter.
that game than anyone ever.
And then
It would be the biggest.
when it was 24-0 in the end of the first
I
quarter,
would
they
hope
changed.
Bama hung 50 on them in the first quarter.
They would. They'd hand at 50.
I'm sorry. I hate UCF.
I don't like that whole.
Oh, we're
But-
the national champions. We're the best team out there. Play somebody with a 500 record or better.
Well, guess what? They're ranked higher this year, and they're gonna probably be a national champion if they go undefeated again. If they go 13-0 again, they will be a national champion in quotes in more polls that are recognized by the NCAA record book than last year.
And you want to know how many I'll recognize? 0.
Well, guess what? That's
They're
not up to
national
you.
They're not national champions.
So
It's crap.
I would love it.
Then
if-
let them in the playoff.
So they get throttled? No, you don't deserve to be in the playoff unless you play somebody.
They went undefeated. They played everybody. They
No,
beat
they played-
everyone on their
they-
schedule.
I don't care.
I would love it if it was the 4 that are in right now were the 4. Here's why. You've got the SEC, 2 teams, ACC, 1 team, and independent. You've only got 2 of the 5 Power 5 conferences represented in the Final 4, and I think that creeps you closer to 8 teams. I think it pushes it down the road a little bit further when a majority of the Power 5 conferences aren't in, and you still got this Central Florida bird chirping over here. It's like, fine, 8 teams. Every champion's in. A non-Power 5 team, if they meet this criteria, whatever it is, are in, and then you have 2 or 3 at-larges. Fine, 8 teams. Here we go.
I agree it gets you closer, but also I think there's an argument out there that says, well, be better, Pac-12. Don't have teams lose 2 to 3 games.
I know, I understand that, but I think the system is set up right now with so many human biases in it. Alabama's clearly the best team, and I think Georgia's a great team. But LSU, they were on the cusp of being in. I was never convinced LSU was that good. I mean, I think there's so many biases in, including what got Ohio State in last time and what might get them in this time. Oh, it's Ohio State. They just beat Northwestern by 20 points.
And Urban Meyer overcame terrible odds in a tough situation this year.
Overcame ignoring spouse abuse. He really overcame that. Let's go, Ohio State. Let's
God,
put him
Tom
in.
Rinaldi. I had some respect. Or no, sorry, it wasn't Tom Rinaldi. I forget who it
You
was.
still respect Tom Rinaldi.
Who was it?
Tom, I know you're listening. We apologize.
Who was it that did the Urban Meyer over? Was it Tom Rinaldi? I forget who.
The interview?
No, somebody just this last week had like something about. I didn't see it. Someone was tweeting about it that they did like a segment on how all the odds that Urban Meyer has overcome this year.
Jesus. He's head coach at Ohio State.
Let me get the world's smallest violin.
There's no odds you're overcoming.
Get out of here.
Whatever. The SEC plays 8 conference games.
That bothers me.
Get off
a
my
lot.
lawn.
That bothers me so
UCF
much.
didn't play a 500 team. Get off mine.
But no, I'm with you. The SEC needs to start playing 9. I don't want to hear that we don't play everyone now. We're 14 teams. We don't play teams until 14 years later, whatever it is, because I think that's it.
Sometimes that happens, yeah.
Why don't you? Well, it happens to everyone with a particular team.
Yeah.
It's the way it's set up.
Okay,
Why don't you
you're
just
right.
play a 9th game and solve that? Granted, it probably only cuts it to 8 because you're playing crappy 7-team divisions that doesn't work. It's so stupid. 14's the worst number for a conference.
From Wildcat Wabash, do you believe the stories about current players telling recruits recruits they show around not to come here?
I haven't heard that about current players.
I thought that was about.
That was past players.
yeah,
and,
past
I
players.
don't think they would just make something like that up.
No, I know it's true. I know it's true. Post-mortem, we would know those things are true, yeah.
From Park.
But that probably happens everywhere. I mean, let's be honest. Kids are emotional, and if you kind of consider your friends or something, don't come here, man. I hate it. Don't say that.
I'm already too
Or-
deep in.
Don't come here. You're going to take my playing time.
Yeah, that's a lot of it too.
Yeah.
You know. From Parker, with former Texas head coach Mac Brown going back to his former job at North Carolina, who is one former K-State football coach, dead or alive, that you would hire to turn K-State around?
I love how he set it up like K-State's just had tons of football coaches come through here.
I guess in my lifetime I got Ron Prince.
I wonder if he means like assistants too. I didn't clarify with him.
I don't.
Mark Mangino.
Gary Patterson? Because he was assistant here? I don't know.
And we could change time and use a new headline.
I mean,
We told you.
I feel like all the answers here, aside Bob Stoops, are realistic choices to be the next head coach. Jim Leavitt, Brent Venables.
Like, you want me to dig up Charlie Bachman and say, hey, you called us the Wildcats. It's stuck. Here, coach some more.
I couldn't name any. Outside of Stan Parrish, I don't think I could name any other football coaches.
Oh, man.
Was Ahern a football coach?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
coached all three sports.
right.
You know what? That Parker guy missed on this one.
He has some hit and miss. Yeah. He was telling me during Thanksgiving, he's like, every time I think I have a good one, you guys say it's a bad one. And then every time I have one I'm not crazy about, you guys like it. And I was like, well, I don't know. Maybe have better questions.
I don't know.
He yells at me for not picking certain ones. I'm in charge of this. I do this. This is me.
From GT Cat, this is a rapid fire set. Canon or Nikon?
Yeah.
I don't think anybody
Nikon,
cares.
but I don't care.
What do you got?
If I had to choose, I'd choose Canon.
Okay.
But I don't own any. Well, I guess I own a Canon lens on my JVC camera, which is a weird thing to say, but JVC
an Emily
doesn't
Starkey
make
question.
good lenses.
Riley, cannon or tank?
Those are...
This isn't rapid fire anymore.
Cannon or tank?
Tank.
You got a tank. Okay, go. Next question. Next part.
Wedding cake frosting or whipped cream cake frosting?
Wow.
A wedding cake frosting.
Wedding cake.
Wedding cake, probably, yeah.
Stick or automatic?
Automatic.
Automatic, I'm lazy.
If you say stick, you're just trying to prove a point.
You're going to say paddles.
Paddles. If it has a paddle shifter, yeah.
Oh, boy.
Mayo or Miracle Whip? Neither.
Miracle Whip.
Mayo.
Actually, I like them both, honestly.
Firefox or Chrome? Chrome.
Brahms? I really like Google knowing everything about me. I use Gmail personally. Google, my phone probably, they know everything about me. Love it.
Brahms or Cold Stone?
Brahms. Easy.
I'm not either one. I don't care.
You have to pick one.
I don't need either one.
I didn't want Mayo or Miracle Whip. I don't want any of that.
Okay, Brahms.
Yeah, Brahms.
But
also they serve burgers and you can get your groceries. Is that your...
Exactly. No, exactly. It's the circle of life. You can go in, you can eat your greasy burger, and you can go get toilet paper as you head out the door.
It's cheaper.
It's the circle of life.
It's like $7 to go to Cold Stone.
Yeah, that is true. It's like $2 to go to Brahms. And you get it in a...
And $5 gets you the toilet paper. Off you go. You're set for the night.
Last one is Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks coffee.
Oh, I hate coffee.
I don't drink coffee a whole lot,
coffee.
but probably Starbucks.
Good. Dunkin' Donuts.
I had Starbucks
donuts.
today.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want a coffee. I want donuts.
Donuts.
Well, they have like brownies and stuff at Starbucks and pastries and sandwiches.
They're also foo-foo.
You can get lunch at Starbucks.
You get lunch at Dunkin'.
Yeah,
Can you?
Now it's just Dunkin'.
Yeah, it's just Dunkin'.
Oh. Okay.
From I Like Pickles Cat, what are your thoughts on the Stampede lineup for next year?
Terrific lineup. I love it. They redeemed themselves because they announced that Old Dominion was the headliner like a couple months ago, and I was like, wow, that's a weak headliner. That is a weak headliner. But then they come back with that
And added UCF, and you're pumped.
Oh God, get out of here. They got Jason Aldean in there. They got Jake Owen going down the list. Like, I just think that this is one of the more well-rounded. I want to get the whole thing here because honestly, I'm blanking off the top of my head.
They have Blackhawk.
All of them.
Now
Blackhawk was one.
Let me point this out. I'm a vintage Blackhawk fan. That was my group. I know that some country people don't like it, but I loved Blackhawk. But ever since one of their founding members died, and it's gone from a threesome to a twosome, they really fell off the map. I'm a Blackhawk fan, and I didn't realize they were still touring. I mean, I didn't know they were still together doing anything. Go ahead.
Here's some knock out of the park names.
Okay.
Jason Aldean, Jake Owen, I'll put Old Dominion in there, even though I'm not crazy about him. Clint Black's a good one. Sawyer Brown. Casey Donahue, excuse me. And then you also have Michael Ray, Morgan Wallen, and that is it. More announced soon, those smaller ones. Terrific lineup this year. Well done, Stampede. I will, without a doubt, be attending, and I might just go ahead and buy a 3-day pass and do some camping.
Go do some VIP.
Here's the thing. VIP is great if you have someone to go with. I don't have someone to go to the VIP because all my friends are going to be camping, general admission thing. I was in the pit for Alabama this year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you throw your bra up there?
Not sure. Okay. It was a day. Let's put it that way.
Sir Wright.
I've had those at Stampede. I understand.
Did your ghost follow you to the new location away from Aggieville?
No. Dude, Joe's not here.
No, Yo's did not come with us.
Sometimes I question that, though. But I hear some things.
There's some weird sounds.
I hear some things.
We've got, in one of the offices, it'll eventually be the new offices of these two guys. When the air conditioning kicks on or the heat, it makes it sound like little mice are running above the drop ceiling.
Yeah.
It's a little weird.
Oh?
But it only happens when the air's on.
Are we sure we want that office?
Bully, I mean, even in our office now, you can hear it up there. But like a year ago, I remember hearing that. I was like, I think Yo's here.
Yeah.
I think Yo followed us.
Kind of weird.
From Big Sam, do you have any predictions on Sporting KC regarding the rest of the playoffs?
This is a Zach question, but let me preface this real quick before Zach gives his true opinions. We were in Iowa. We were stuck there. And Sporting played on Sunday. So we're in a hotel and trying to find something to do kind of for dinner. I need to get out, have a beer or something like that because I was just done with being in a hotel for the day. I was like, hey, you want to go somewhere and watch Sporting games? Zach's like, no, I'm just going to watch it here. Well, we didn't get FS1 in the hotel. So had to go to an establishment to get some food, watch the game, whatever.
We didn't go to a strip club.
We just went to a place.
It was a mountain climbing themed place.
Yes. And so I'm not a big soccer guy, but I try to follow it if I'm there to watch a game with someone that's into soccer. I'm trying to understand everything. It's the Western Conference Finals like this. And so I'm like, okay, so the winner goes to the championship. And Zach's like, no, it's the first leg. I'm like, so what? It's like a best of 3? He's like, no, it's this aggregate scoring system.
So weird. That is the weirdest thing, actually.
The game ends in a 0-0 tie, which, God, don't get me started on the crappiness of that. The game ends in a 0-0 tie. But now I come to find out that in leg 2 of this 2-leg race here, if Sporting gives up even 1 goal and ties, Sporting loses.
How's that?
That is the dumbest thing of all time.
The away goals rule. I mean, it's like...
a goal away from home counts for more than a goal at home.
Oh.
And it's not this MLS creation. I mean, they do this all over the world. This is a FIFA thing. It's how you do, playoffs or, bracket style tournaments like this is you have a 2-leg. Technically the first game, the team with the advantage is the team playing at home second. They go out on the road first. So Sporting KC was the higher seed, so they technically have the advantage there. So they need to go out and get a goal. A 0-0 draw
sucked.
A 0-0 draw is the second worst result, outside of, it is the worst result outside of giving up a bunch of goals to Portland. But not scoring any goals and not giving up any goals, that means if you draw back at home, you do not go through.
If it's 1-1, Sporting's done.
So Sporting KC has to win. They've been good at home this year.
Only in soccer can 2 ties equal a loss for someone.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good way to put it.
I spent $17, drank very frosty beers to watch a 0-0 tie that screwed Sporting. It was crap.
So, when is the second match?
Thursday, back in Kansas City. And I think they get Diego Rubio back. He was on a yellow card suspension.
Oh, good.
So, thanks, Fitz.
Oh, good.
So they get a good guy back. I think they have better chances of winning than not, but at the same time,
What's the weather going to be like Thursday night in Kansas City?
not good enough for me to go.
Yeah, Zach goes, hey, I wonder what the weather's going to be like. Or maybe I'd go. And he's like, nope, not worth it.
Do I have to put on my long underwear again for the 4th straight week? I don't know if I want to sit outside for a game. But
I'm just saying, I think, I'll admit I would be a little bit bandwagonish if Sporting was in a championship. Like, I would probably flip it on the TV. I have absolutely no interest in watching this second leg.
See, okay, so just talking about the second leg, I'd say Sporting has a pretty good chance of winning. I think they do. When you go to the final, it's between New York Red Bulls and Atlanta. I think Atlanta won. I think they beat New York pretty good. Those teams are so much better than Sporting KC right now. And Atlanta, they're kind of like the Golden Knights of MLS. This is their second year in the league. And they were good last year, and they were really good this year and had the most points, or maybe the second most points, whatever it was, in the Eastern Conference and the league total.
So what you're saying is that Sporting Kansas City and Portland are playing to be Notre Dame, Oklahoma, Ohio State, or Clemson. They are playing.
They're playing to not be. They're
playing for second place.
They're playing for Alabama. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
I guess. I mean, I don't want to say that it's unrealistic. I mean, Sporting KC is obviously a good team. Like, they were the best team in the West. That meant they were the third best team in that.
Do you aggregate score the championship?
You don't aggregate score the final.
Now, why would you not do that?
Well,
they play at a neutral site?
Traditionally, that game is meant to be played at a neutral site. So if you played at a neutral site, it's fine. You play one game. If it's tied after full time, you play extra time. If it's still tied after full time or extra time, you go to penalties. And that makes sense.
At any point, do they wrestle?
No, they don't wrestle.
That's how every soccer game should be.
They should have the goalies go to midfield and beat the shit out of each other. Just club the hell out of each other.
But
no kicking, ironically. That would be forbidden.
No, but this game will be played at the winner of the Eastern Conference Final. So either at New York or at Atlanta. It'll be played there. So there is a home field advantage.
Can we just check the weather and pick a place?
Hey, Portland, I know you made it to the championship.
Atlanta's played in a dome, so how about that?
Let's all go to Atlanta then.
God, soccer pisses me off.
That was Big Sam. I hope you're happy. That was way more soccer than I want on this podcast.
I appreciate your question, Big Sam. God, soccer is not stupid.
That made me miss Fortnite questions.
We're going to get a Fortnite question next week.
You know you can play soccer in Fortnite?
What?
Yeah, it was a challenge one week.
This honestly, guys, Fortnite has jumped the shark. It has gotten.
Yeah, I would agree.
It's too far out there right now.
Was the soccer?
I'm just burnt out on it, really. I want to play something else, like FIFA.
I'm still playing Fortnite.
This is the last question of overtime, and it's another rapid fire round from I Like Pickles Cat. Yeah. So we'll start it. Hunting or fishing?
Hunting.
Fishing.
Neither. I don't do either.
I don't do either.
Again,
but,
you gotta pick something.
I don't like
hunting.
I don't like loud noises and waking up in the morning. So that kind of gets.
You can wake up in the morning and fish too. Based on the times.
You should,
at any time,
but there's no loud noises. You don't yell at the fish. You don't make loud noises while fishing. Hunting is about loud noises.
No, hunting is about loud noises if you're pheasant or dove hunting. You're not.
What am I going to take a bow out?
I mean, you can bow hunt a deer.
Well, I'm not going to do it.
But the point of deer and turkey hunting is to be quiet until the shot.
Yeah.
That's the problem. There's a shot. It'll scare me. I'll pee my pants a little bit.
This is not rapid fire
Like you
anymore.
wouldn't already?
I know, but look, it's just loud noises
Hunting.
don't work with me. Fishing.
Beach or skiing?
Beach, every time.
I love them both so much. The beach because I can drink beer.
I haven't done either in like 12 years.
Look, I don't like mornings. I don't like loud noises. I don't like falling, and I don't like winter. We're covering it all right now.
Probably do skiing.
Oh, man.
It's winter now. Ask me in the summer, and I'll say beach.
So much for
we actually talked about this. Some of my friends are really into ski boarding. That I'd go out there and just get hammered at the bar at the bottom of the mountain.
Ski boarding?
Yeah.
What is ski boarding?
It's a board. It's like, yeah. It's
snowboarding?
Oh my gosh, I did say that. I'm so bad.
"Quote unquote rapid fire."
Help me.
Do it yourself or call a pro?
Call a pro.
Call a pro.
Call a pro.
Why, look, I do some things myself, but Papa Fitz taught me one thing. You can fix, this is a dated reference now, you can fix anything you want with one tool, the Yellow Pages. You tell me, just call someone, man.
Call someone.
Don't, you're going to screw it up worse.
Do it right.
I'm not a home improvement guy.
Yellow Pages. Okay.
That's kind of dated. Now it'd be the Google. The Google machine.
Yeah. Check the magazine,
Fart.
guys. Okay. For Hilo Pizza or Tanner's Burgers? Hilo Pizza. Which is really AJ's Pizza under a different flag.
I think I'm going to have to say burgers because I like burgers better.
I'm going to say the burgers only because that Kansas City burger is decadent and wonderful. It's got pulled pork and onion rings on a burger.
Pickles, it's like asking me to choose who my favorite child is if I'm a parent. Like,
It's the oldest.
Daphne. Oh, I'm sorry. Darla, I'm sorry. If you're listening to this, it's Daphne.
Bud Light or Coors Light?
Bud Light.
Bud Light.
Couch or recliner?
Recliner if it's the right one.
Couch. Tates or kites? Tates.
Kites.
Tate's. I don't go to either one, but I've had a friend that bartended a long time at Tate's and he didn't bartend anymore.
I think the last time I saw you out was at Tate's.
Yeah, the one time I went to see John bartend.
Okay. Eat at the table or on the couch?
Couch.
Table.
Depends what I'm eating, but
Yeah,
I'm going
that's
to
a good
say.
point.
Like if I'm eating a steak, I'll sit at the table, but I'm going to say the couch.
Or the food doesn't make it home all the way and you ate it in the car.
Fair.
That's happened.
Also true.
That's happened to all of us, and we don't know how it happens. It just disappears.
Comedy or action? I assume that means movies or TV.
Comedy.
Probably
Comedy.
action.
Action movies are just ridiculously close-up shots that are really loud.
Oh, sounds like me and hunting.
Basketball or football?
Football.
Football.
Says the basketball beat writer.
Volleyball or soccer? That's stupid. Soccer.
Volleyball.
Whatever.
Yeah, I want to watch guys
Whatever,
run
guys.
around the field and fake injuries or girls play volleyball. Yeah. Pretty easy to
Guys
say.
play volleyball too.
Yeah, they do. Hell yeah, they do.
Fits. Which or Jimmy John's?
Which?
Which?
Yep. I'm back on the which train. Wendy's or McDonald's? Wendy's.
Wendy's.
If I'm just eating one meal, Wendy's. Overall, McDonald's.
West Side.
Bang for
Whoa.
buck.
That shocked me.
West Side Wendy's is back open, and I'm so happy.
I know.
Bang for buck, guys.
We have fast food on our side of the town other than Jimmy John's and McDonald's.
And Sonic and Dairy Queen, which the Dairy Queen was also closed for a year for a fire.
Yeah.
So, guys, the McDonald's is next. The McDonald's is going to fire next.
Bang for buck.
Hey, but then we get to eat the Wendy's all the time.
We need something in the old Burger King. That's where I want a Spangles.
Me too.
Okay.
Just to have something different.
Okay, Brett.
Just something different. I'd like something on the west side of the town the east side of the town doesn't have. This isn't all about the east side of town, and we've become about the east side of town.
Poncheros.
Poncheros.
Taco Cabana.
I don't think we're getting either one of those. Sorry.
I can try.
Sorry, dude. Is that it?
Last one is Venables or Levitt.
I'm a Levitt guy, but I'd be
Venables.
happy with either one.
I'll take Venables.
If I had my pick, Venables.
Again, it's a generational thing, isn't it? That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so I just want to add this real quick. We had the Cyber Monday special. We had a ton of signups, but I want to give a shout out to my fraternity brother who finally signed up. And I won't say his name, but I'll just say what he's like. He's kind of a quiet guy. I mean, he'll talk to you, but he's not a boisterous, not over the top guy. And I really hope he asks a question in the podcast because he chose the screen name Powercat. I'm sorry, that's unbelievable, particularly when you know the dude. Like, yep, that's beautiful. That's it for the Powercat Podcast. We will be back next week with news about Kansas State's new football coach. See, it just keeps getting better as we get to the end, doesn't it? We will see what happens. Of course, follow along at GoPowercat.com. We're going to cut through all the crap out there and get to what's really going on. We're not going to just tease you and tantalize you with a bunch of stuff. We're going to give you the real bones of what's happening. And right now, everyone's in holding pattern. But it doesn't stop us from talking. It doesn't stop us from going to the Fridge Wholesale Liquor either.
Powercat Podcast. All rights reserved. GoPowercat.com and Spirit Street Publishing.